Radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Good evening. How you doing? It's Fade to Black. Today is Monday, December 11th, 2023. Let's do this. Man, I've been waiting for this show for a long time. Help support the show and help all of our hard work that we do around here. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt. It's signed. It includes shipping. There's 2 shirts. There's 2 ways to get them. The links are below. A couple of programming notes. Also, the Stairway to the Stars live stream, over 100 hours of programming, is now available. The link for that is below. It's a $111 donation. That's all it is for all of that programming. You get access for 30 days. The links are below. Also, I just posted out on most of my social media the GoFundMe for Mishel Harris. Right before the show tonight, I spoke with Brad Harris about 15 minutes ago, actually, and to get the update on Mishel. She's doing better. She was injured on Halloween weekend. She fell and hit her head. She has been in the hospital since then. She has been moved out of the hospital and is in a full-on, full-time rehab facility. Brad says, I'm just going to give this update. Brad says he hopes that she'll be home sometime in February. It's very serious, and it's a very messed up situation. And Mishel is my little sister, and I'm heartbroken with this news. So he wanted me to thank everybody that has donated to the GoFundMe. The family is I mean, just imagine if if mom is not around for this length of time. So anyway, do what you can. Please, I've got it up in Facebook on all of my pages in Facebook and Twitter, and I'll take care. I've got a lump in my throat. I'm very sad about this. So, fade or not, please do what you can. All right? It's the holiday season and everything else, and we are family. So please, please help out Brad and Jonah and Mishel through these very, 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 very trying times for their family. Okay. So the links are in my Facebook pages. They're in the fan pages. They're on my radio page. And I've also got them up in our company Twitter. Okay. So the links are right there. Please do what you can today. All right. With that, man, tonight, Manu Intiraymi is with us tonight. That's right. And I've called this show The High Strangeness of Life. Manu is the best. Of course, he's an actor. He's a producer. He's a writer. And he, with Manu, and I'm going to bring him on here in just a second. Yes, he's known for Star Trek Voyager, right? And he's known for One Tree Hill. And I get that, but he's so much more. And he just divulged, I'm not going to blow this for him, but he's got another thing going on right now. And I got to he's going to pull this one off too as well. Yes, he has starred in over 70 TV and film projects. He's produced several feature films. I'm not going to go through his bio or his IMDb because it's like 15 pages long. All right. But dangerousthoughts.show. The links are below. All of his Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and social media. Well, it's all at Manu, right? So all of that is below too as well. And man, I've got to change. There we go. And I had to change something in my show notes. It was called the date. I had to change the date. And so enough of that. I just got to bring out Manu. Now, dude.
I didn't know I was supposed to bring flowers.
Yeah. My man, it's been too long, and I miss you. And now,
I miss you too, man.
well, see, here's the thing. Now you're international. You're metropolitan, cosmopolitan, bi-coastal, around the world, and all of that. You're in Colorado tonight. You're not here.
I drink Manhattan sometimes.
Yeah, that too. But I thought I almost was going to bring you into the studio, but you're out there working and doing stuff in Colorado at the moment. But that was my plan. I was going to bring you into the studio. We're going to do this live. We'll do that next time in 5 years. Right?
Yeah, another 5 years, right? You're in LA.
Yeah. Well,
oh, man.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, I'm in Palmdale now.
All right. Well, I would have been there.
Yeah. We would have figured something out.
Half the time I'm in LA. Half the time I'm in Colorado. When I actually first came out here, and I thought I was dealing with a bunch of stuff, family matters. I won't get into it. But while I was stuck out here dealing with all that stuff, I thought, why not find some musicians? Why not find some music for Star Crew, which is a backdoor pilot that I'm trying to get picked up. 5 years in development, $500,000, a lot of Star Trek actors, a lot of Mark Ralston from Aliens, etc. And I want it to be this hard R sort of like, Shaun of the Dead meets Galaxy Quest meets The Boys. I want to be the sci-fi of The Boys, right?
Right.
And I thought, what's the perfect soundtrack for a show like that? I need hip hop. And so I started looking for some hip hop artists while I was out here, and some producers and some people that make beats. And I just came upon the perfect connection of these four guys and this one producer. And we started making the soundtrack for the show. I just wanted the soundtrack for the show and the end credits thing, right?
Now, this is, see, I just said I wasn't going to divulge it, and you're doing it in the first 3 minutes of the show. You're just going to do it.
But I'm not telling everything. I'm not telling everything.
Don't.
No, so I met these guys. They're freaking amazing.
Right.
I call them Click Tight. I'm producing. As soon as I started to even get their music for the show, which was only going to be 2-3 songs for the soundtrack, I immediately went, oh man, these guys are too good. So I started producing a couple albums for them, and they're going to drop early next year, right after New Year's. We're going to drop the first Click Tight EP. It's called Click Tight Cypher EP. And then we're going to drop the full length LP about a month later called Click Tight Textlorado. So check that out. Look at Apple Music, Spotify, all the places that you listen to music.
So is it, can you tell me, I'll ask one question about it. We've got so much to cover tonight, man. I mean, so I want to try to get it all in, but is it like a sci-fi driven R&B rap thing? What's
more hip hop and rap than R&B, but you remember like the CW when you used to back in the day that they had those shows like One Tree Hill, which I was on for a little while. I didn't mean to toot my own horn, but what was the one right before One Tree Hill? Had all the kids at the high school.
Creek.
Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek, right.
So remember how One Tree Hill and Dawson's Creek were sort of launching pads for independent folk artists and rock and roll and indie artists. I want Star Crew to be the launching pad for up and coming hip hop artists, because it's a very rated R, Amazon, HBO, Netflix type of show. It can't be a network show. It's got too much blood and guts and MRFers and different words like that, loaded throughout the thing. And I thought, why not have a show that's sci-fi, that's space and zombies and action, filled with heart, but also that's a launching pad for musical artists and hip hop artists. I don't think that's ever been done. So,
yeah, that's a great idea. And there is every time, and I know you're going to go, yeah, exactly, Jimmy. There have been some very cool, creative sci-fi things in the last 10 years that have come out that to me were always, I mean, very cool, had my attention, like say the Orville, right?
yeah.
Now, and you bring up Galaxy Quest, actually, where the Orville took chances. And I love that. I love that. Social commentary set in a sci-fi world, kind of like the original Star Trek, which, if you go back to the 60s and think about the social pop culture stuff that Star Trek was covering in the future, right? A future version of social commentary. People thought they were watching a sci-fi show, but actually they were watching like social.
Actually, they were being programmed to be better people. Yeah.
Yes. And so a lot of shows do that, but they don't go the full 100%. And it's almost there. Like the Orville, which was, you know what? It was edgy, man.
It's great, and it was edgy. But if it was on HBO,
it'd be a different show.
It'd be a different show.
It'd be a different show. It would be a different show. So what was, you know what? You're the right guy at the right time to do something like this. It's got to go, take it to 110%. And you're the one to do that. So, yeah, I think it's a great idea.
It's a Galaxy Quest sort of storyline about a bunch of actors that find their way to their own universe. And at the same time, the villains from their own universe are trying to massacre the actors on Earth. And so they're going to look for their the help of the people they play on TV. They're actually going to look for the real people that has been created. The whole show is based on the idea that everything we write, every radio show we do, anything creative we do, creates the spark and the totality of a new universe somewhere out there in the cosmos. So these actors find their way to their own universe to ask their hero selves for help. They end up getting their hero selves killed, and so they have to don the uniforms and pretend to be the heroes that they are on TV.
So you
this Stombot army.
Man, I'm going to go pitch this tomorrow. I stole it.
You stole it already. I already shot the POC, man. I'm going to beat you to it.
Oh man, I you know what? It's going to happen. I can't wait for this, Manu.
Full of hip hop and full of in The Boys, like you say, and they don't go 100%. In The Boys, you've got superheroes that turn into little tiny men while they're doing drugs on a table, and then crawl up each other's a-holes and then start tickling the inside of the guy's a-holes. And then he sneezes and he blows his boyfriend up. I mean, that's like as far as you can push things. And everybody loves The Boys.
Yeah.
And so we want to be that rated R, sci-fi Star Trek-like show, but we want to push those limits of what's allowed on television. And still keep heart in the mix.
Yeah,
have you ever seen Violent Night with Santa Claus kicking all the gangsters' ass? That's like the perfect example of the type of thing.
That's a really good movie, by the way. Hey, and you know what? I'm a huge fan. Well, I'm going to say was, all right, of Rick and Morty. And Rick and Morty was so good. I haven't seen the new stuff, right? When I'm not even going to say his name, I don't want to go there, but the creator and the voice of Rick and the voice of Morty, he gets arrested for domestic abuse. They ended up, they drop him from the show immediately. And so the creator, the voice for everything, he's gone. He's writing the script. He's out of there. And it just took the heart. It took the soul out of the show for me. Not only that he's gone, but for why he was gone. And then the charges were dropped.
No, it was an Amber Heard situation.
Yeah, man, and so now I got to pull myself back in, but they're not going to pull him back into the show. It's
why not? Johnny Depp is a hero.
Yeah, I know,
the charges were dropped.
I know. Isn't it weird how that works? You know,
and when the charges are dropped, usually it's because the judge says, "Hey, there's nothing here, not guilty. This girl is making this stuff up."
And when
I don't know anything about Rick and Morty, I don't want to get canceled again. I backed Kevin Spacey back in the day and got a whole bunch of shit for that. But Depp beats his charges. It proves in both cases that the girl was a borderline personality liar that was trying to ruin his career. Kevin Spacey does the same thing, but Kevin Spacey's still a villain. This guy from Rick and Morty, I don't know any details, so don't hate me or judge me on any of it. But it sounds like if the charges were dropped, why not hire the guy back to the show? I don't understand. I hate cancel culture. I just hate it.
It's weird how I don't know. It's easy to get off on this track, and so let's stay here for just a second. There were certain things that our founding fathers, wrote into the Constitution, and one of those things that was something that was so foundational, which was you're innocent until proven guilty. Right? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
in the Constitution.
And now
it's not in practice, but it's in the Constitution.
And now, the last 20 years of and you can even go back to things like court TV, right? Or they would have a trial on TV, and what's her name? Doing the
Judge Judy.
No. What's her name? The blonde that was the host that did all those shows. Anyway, so the point is, social media and the public now determines what is going on before you ever go to court, and everything. The jury pool, the judge, everybody is polluted. What? Nobody reads social media? No, that's not the case. And it's a weird, we just might as well have trial. Forget the court
trial by social media.
By social media, man. Facebook says guilty. Facebook, Twitter says not guilty. Okay, there you go. All right.
That's already going on in China. In China, you actually have on your Facebook and on your social media, you have a what they call a something score, which basically is your social score. And so when you meet somebody in China as a young person growing up, trying to get their life straight, and close the door, you studio crazy people. You actually have to. Girls will be like, "What's your social score?" Because I can't date anybody under a 700 or anybody under 600.
Isn't that great?
Because if you don't, you can't ride the train. You can't buy things from vending machines. You can't buy things from certain stores.
You can't go into restaurants. Can you imagine? Your daughter goes, "Daddy, can we go to Chuck E. Cheese? It's my birthday."
I said something on social media that was stupid. I can't bring it today.
Yeah, right. You go in, you walk into the restaurant, you flash your cell phone, and it goes, beep, it turns red.
Yeah.
The door doesn't
Chuck E. Cheese for you.
Chuck E. Cheese.
You support Kevin Spacey. You can't come in here.
Yeah, can you imagine? So, well, now and here is I just got back. I want to start.
Jimmy, they killed me. All I said was it wasn't rape. They hired a different actor on Star Trek. They killed the character after 2 lines. This was a much beloved character that people loved Icheb for 2 years of this show. He was a brilliant character written by Brian Fuller and a now passed away writer who was just a genius, Michael Piller. And because of what I said one stupid night, they killed me. They killed the character. They angered the fans that loved this character. And they put somebody else in his body to say, "Oh, mommy," before they shot him. because
Yeah,
I said
look, it's not, and not only does that royally suck. I am going to have on in about a week. We're just finishing it out now. I'll let it out. I'm having a Dee Snider on the show, the lead singer.
I love Dee Snider.
He's the best, right? He's the best, and so Dee.
Not scared to say anything.
But here's the deal. Before there was a thing called cancel culture, he was the first. So when they were doing the hearings with Tipper Gore and everybody else in Washington, D.C., and they brought in Frank Zappa and Dee Snider and to testify on Capitol Hill, because Twisted Sister was heavy metal and the music was demonic, and they were going to censor and put labels on everything, which they ended up doing, right?
Yeah.
So he goes and he testifies, and we're talking about Twisted bleeping Sister, right? On top of it, just on top, man, he gets dropped from his label, can't tour, band breaks up, can't get re-signed, and his son Cody Blue, who I had on the show last week, talented film director, by the way, just an amazing talent. So he was telling me, he goes, man, my dad worked in a phone room. In a phone room, dude, in a boiler room.
Telecalling people?
Yes.
Geez. Oh,
Dee Snider, and it just totally canceled, totally dropped, totally, and just think about that. And
because of an opinion, too.
Over free
because
speech.
Of an opinion. Free speech and an opinion.
Over artistic freedom.
And say this, right? Say I like Kevin Spacey. I don't know what Dee Snider did, but I like Kevin Spacey. I don't think Kevin Spacey ever did anything wrong other than try to kiss a 16-year-old at his party. But it turned out that this dude on Star Trek, Anthony, during testimony, couldn't remember what the layout of the house looked like. A number of people that he said that were at the house that night weren't there. Said a lot of lies on the stand. And I even think one of his friends sent texts to Kevin Spacey trying to get him to pay them off so that they would back off. But for some reason, the accuser is still a hero and Kevin Spacey is still an old pervert. I think the worst that Kevin Spacey ever did in his life was be a gay man that was perverted, that liked to grab a few cocks at gay bars. Pardon my speech, but I'm a bisexual man. I've been in a gay bar. I've had my crotch grabbed before. This is not like something that you take away a person's livelihood for. And Dave Chappelle said it the best. Dave Chappelle said, when you take away a man's livelihood, it is paramount to killing him. And it's the truth. When you suddenly go from, I'm making money for my family, I'm making money for my children, I'm making money for my mom, my dad. You mentioned this girl earlier, Mishel and Brad, that people should be supporting because they need their hospital bills paid for. Imagine if suddenly all of that ability was taken away from you. I don't think people quite understand what a major kick in the balls that is. That is like taking away your ability to take care of your loved ones.
You've seen Black Mirror. Yeah. Right. And there are elements of that. And one of the scary parts for me about Black Mirror is it's the near future. Okay. It's not
I know exactly what episode you're talking about.
Well, it's every episode, really. Yeah. But when you think about something like Black Mirror, and where we are today, I don't know about you, but I don't carry cash. I don't. I carry, you know what I carry around on me? Tip money. I can tip people.
Yeah, just enough.
Yeah. Tip money. I'm a big tipper. I believe in over tipping. I love tipping. But that's our life today. And if any of that is taken away, I have, you know what? I've got three. I can bring them all in here. I've got 3 identical iPhone 15s. 3 different phone numbers, but all 3 are identical. My banking information is on 3 phones. And my life is on these phones. If I just had one and I lost it, dude, I'm like screwed.
Oh yeah, the dark technology. We're all using it.
Well, we all are. And so back to like the idea behind Black Mirror. If anybody decides if the switch needs to be flipped electronically, where you get cut off of your electronic funds and the ability to pay, how long until you're homeless?
Until you're homeless. Until you're sitting on the side of the street.
How long? Well, okay. 30 days? You know, the cycle of the monthly car payment and the house payment, what, 30 days? Yeah. And then, you know, how long until you starve to death? I mean, how long?
It's real. And that's what I think these cancer culture people that actually want to cancel people and get high on, oh, he said something stupid, or his opinion on this one subject builds up his whole character for some reason. That's another thing that blows my mind. Okay, he has an opinion that's stupid. Fine. But does that make a human? Does that make a whole character? Does that build a whole person's life and their value and their worth? No. I could be totally wrong about Kevin Spacey. But why? But it's one little opinion.
But putting Kevin Spacey aside, all right? No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying putting Kevin Spacey aside. But when you and I were kids, and you and I are the same age, except for you found the fountain of youth, and you look younger than when we first met. So, you know, screw you, by the way. But
took a little bit.
But when you and I were kids, the doofuses that had crazy ideas were just doofuses with crazy ideas or stupid things to say. We didn't go out of our way, right? You know what? It's
the bullies were bullies, but it wasn't on blast around the world.
Right. And now suddenly everybody's got the right to finger point and have an opinion. And I don't get that. I don't. Manu, maybe it was just in our DNA the whole time and it's surfacing now. I don't know, but it just seems like, and I don't want to sound like my dad. I don't want to sound like some old man, but when we were younger, it was different, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'll get old with you. We used to have message machines. We used to have days where we walked out without our telephones.
Right.
We actually ate lunch and we enjoyed our lunch. And we didn't have to take calls and emails and
Do you remember how excited you were when you came home and your message light was blinking?
Yeah, I got some messages to listen to. You know what? I'll listen to those messages and I'll respond to them tomorrow.
Yes, God, I was so excited. If I didn't have a flashing light when I got home, nobody loved me.
Yeah, the world moved in a slower pace, and it was a beautiful pace. We still got things done. The economy was good. And if you needed a phone, you pulled out a few quarters and you stuck it in one of those things called a payphone, and you weren't on blast all the time. I feel completely overwhelmed by my cell phone, and I don't think many people feel any differently. It's like a constant thing that beeps or rings at me all day long. And I don't have the ability, because I'm a dark tech addict. I can't not answer it. I can't not answer the email. And all of us as human beings, because of this dark tech that we hold in our pockets, we also expect every single one of our friends, every single one of our business partners, every one of our anybody that you think loves you on planet Earth, you expect them to get back to you right away. And we all do this to each other. Why didn't you get back to me? I texted you 15 minutes ago. And so you're in this constant maze of, keeping up with your cell phone. And I think it's done horrible things to the human race. I think all these mass shootings that are happening are part of it, part of the cell phone, dark tech world. People are just getting too wound up, too uptight, and they're just losing their minds. I don't think it's all that. I'm crazy because I also think that, this is Fade to Black. I could talk about anything I want. I also think that the mind control that the U.S. government had worked on since the 50s and the 60s, I think they've got a really good handle on it now. And I think they can flip the switch on anybody and make you go nuts and make you do stupid shit or say stupid shit.
No. Yeah. Here is the crazy thought. Is that anybody walking down the street, walking past you in the hallway at work, walking past you in school, driving past you in a car, I don't care who you point a finger at, they think the rest of the world is in their bubble. And the tech now is so good, and the government knows this, that what you see in your feed, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what platform it is. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. The people that respond to your friends, the news that you see, that your interests, the average, everything is designed just for you. So you think I'll pick something out. You think, and this is off the top of my head, you're into skateboards. Your bubble is a skateboard world. And you think that everybody else in the world has a skateboard. They don't. You're getting the skateboard news. You're walking down the hallway. You're upset because the new wheels have a different formulation in it. And now that and your day is ruined. And you think that everybody around you is also ruined by this crazy news. And newsflash, they're thinking about knitting. This person is thinking about flashlights. This person is thinking about tennis shoes. This person is thinking about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in their bubble world. It's crazy.
The other thing that's
nobody gets it. Nobody understands that.
The other thing that's crazy is nobody really. I mean, a lot of people are hip to what's happening, but you're not subconsciously aware of how much it really affects you. The other night, me and my girlfriend were talking about, hey, let's go get some ice cream. Nah, we've been eating too much ice cream. We're too unhealthy. We've been eating ice cream 4 or 5 nights a week. Let's not eat any ice cream. Within minutes, the next time I picked up my phone on Facebook and went on social media, there were ice cream ads. There was Haagen-Dazs ads. That they are listening to you 24/7 through your TV screens, through your phones, through your computers, through anything, through your car stereo. They're listening to what you're saying, and they're feeding you exactly what you want. Whatever's coming out of your mouth that they can try to sell you, to sway you. Yeah,
it's a fact.
That's a fact. That is not a paranoid guy's delusion. That is what is happening right now.
It's a fact. It's a fact. My eye opener for that.
They call it metadata, and metadata is more valuable than oil now.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. So I'm at a park in Silmar. It's a hang gliding park, right?
Awesome.
And I'm there with a mutual friend of ours. I'm not going to say who it is, but anyway, I'm there. And they have this picnic area, brand new, really nice, with this wooden thing, and it's like Club Med, very nice. But they had this stainless steel cable railing going around, right? And I made this comment. This steel cabling railing is cool. I would like this at my house. That's all I said. Dude, the next day, on my Facebook, on all that I love, I'm getting cable railing advertisements.
Hey, remember what you thought about 24 hours ago? Here it is. You can have it.
Cable railing? Cable? How blatant can you be? Cable railing. Now, Haagen-Dazs, ice cream, there are people out there that can go, well, okay. All right. But cable railing.
Just test it. If you don't believe this is happening, just test it. Just talk about some particular subject for 20 minutes while your phone's sitting next to you, and then go on social media and jump around for a while. You'll see.
There was a comedian on the other night. I can't remember his name. I was watching him on Netflix a couple nights ago, and he said he's on stage. And this is what he says. He goes, well, so the other day I'm walking down the street and anal dildo, and I'm walking down the street and I decided to have a hammer anal dildo, and he says it like 15 times, and he goes, now, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, you're now all going to get anal dildo ads on your phone. And I was dying. Yeah. I was like, it was just the funniest thing. It's part of the technology side of things. We just got ahead of our skis, and even though we were recognizing it, there was no regulation and nobody there to pump the brakes. No. It was like the gold rush in 1849, man. It was just.
And there's also, it's not just what they're trying to sell you. It's much deeper than that. These algorithms are super high tech. It's how you think, what kind of politics you're into, things you believe in. If you have a certain religion, or if you're a certain way, it's going to drive you farther that direction, no matter what. Whether if you're a super Israel supporter, or if you're a super Ukraine supporter. It's going to drive you farther down that alley. It's never going to give you the opposite of what you're thinking about or the way you think. It's going to polarize. And so we've got this whole nation now that's polarized by these social media algorithms. And we've forgotten how to just be human to human, American.
Yeah, but wasn't being different cool?
It used to be.
Wasn't being different cool? I never liked to conform.
Not me.
I just never did. And it wasn't like I was doing it consciously. But I just always did my own thing. And nobody really got criticized for it. But today, and the whole reason why we are having a discussion right now on the internet, you're in Colorado, I'm here, is because we had thousands of years of people with different ideas getting together, talking and listening to each other. And right now, Manu doesn't know what I'm saying. He just threw down his headphones. He just stepped off of the screen. He's got to go cut vocal tracks for his new hip hop album. Okay, so Manu, what the hell are you doing? We're live on the air right now. Manu, what are you doing?
I'm giving you a whole different view now, Jimmy. My computer was about to die, and I didn't want to get kicked off your show.
This is the best.
Sorry, buddy.
This is only an OG hip hop artist can pull this off.
Yeah, there we go.
So,
even put the hat sideways.
Oh man!
And the headphones don't fit.
Yeah. That was always the problem with NSYNC. Yeah. So. Are those drums in the background?
Yeah, that's a drum kit back there.
Yeah, look at that.
This whole studio is really beautiful, man. They got the studio set up in there for all the vocals and musical recordings. I don't mean to to them out, but Drop D Studios in Colorado Springs. They hook up musicians. They have great prices, and they're super professional.
Okay, there you go. There's a good plug.
There you go. And I wasn't even planning on it.
And yeah, but we just let it get away from us. And there was there's a statement that I've made a million times on the air, and I know I've talked to you about this before, but I'll say it again. I have grown as a human over the last 10 years, and exponentially so. And I know exactly why, Manu, because for 4 hours a night, 4 hours, I'm not
every
on,
night.
I'm not on the cell phone. I'm having a conversation with somebody. And I say it to people all the time. I said it a couple times this weekend. Could you set your cell phone down and turn it off for 4 hours and just talk to somebody? And I love, when I ask that question, I love the look of confusion. It doesn't even compute anymore. I'm like, what?
No.
What? Why would I do that?
I was in LA a couple of weeks ago. I was eating at a rooftop restaurant. Forget the name of the place, but it's right in the middle of Hollywood. I had gone upstairs, and in the elevator they have all these beautiful musical quotes, and not musical quotes, but film quotes. And I get off the elevator and I go and I sit down at my table. I order some lunch. I have a drink, and the guy says, "Hey, would you like me to refill your Coke?" And I go, "Oh my God, I don't have my phone. I don't have my phone. No, I can't have that Coke. I got to run and get my phone." And I went to the elevator. I went downstairs. I went to my car, and on the way up, it dawned on me in my spiritual heart consciousness that, like, I couldn't even enjoy my lunch without my phone handy. I couldn't even take that 20-30 minutes to enjoy my sandwich, to enjoy my fries, to look at the beautiful view of this rooftop restaurant, to forget about that for half an hour, to say, yeah, I'd like another soda. I just want to feel life, live life, breathe air, have thoughts. And when I came up with my phone, the waiter actually said, "Hey, man, I was going to try to talk you out of bringing your cell phone." And I was like, I was just thinking that. He goes, "Turn it off. Enjoy your lunch." And I was like, "Thank you. I think I will." And I did. I turned the phone off.
Man,
I enjoyed lunch like we did 20 years ago.
Doesn't that suck? I was, I mean, just that you have to go through that. I was in Las Vegas. I'm at a casino. This is like 3 years ago. And dude, I've got the suite. I've got things going on. I'm winning money. I'm in a great mood. I'm having fun. I've got friends with me and everything else. And it's getting to be about 12 o'clock. And I kind of look and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to bed. So I walk over to right next to the casino is a Subway. Right? I'm like, man, Subway sandwich, bag of Funyuns, Coke in bed. That sounds pretty good. So I go over to Subway, I order my food, and I walk away. Paid for it, walked away. And I went, okay, I got this. I'm going to the elevators. Okay. Oh, man, my cell phone. I left it at Subway. Not a big deal. Turn around, go back to Subway. 20 seconds have gone by. Left my cell phone here. No, I did. I was just here. I got, yeah, I remember. No phone. What? Are you sure? So I walked away. Check this out. I go back to the roulette table. No cell phone. I go back to I played like 2 slot machines. Check there. No. Somebody's sweeping the floor. I go up to him. Seen his cell phone? No. Anybody else in this area? I'm the only one in this area. He calls over the floor manager. Now it's like 30 minutes have gone by, and I'm pretty much into full panic mode.
You're getting, shaky.
Yeah. I'm pretty much in full panic mode. Manager comes up. No cell phones. I said, well, I was here. I was there. I was at Subway. I definitely had my phone. Okay. Well, we'll get back to you. When? Well, go to security. So I go to security. I go over to security, and no phones. Okay. I walk away. I'm back to, and now I'm going to say an hour has gone by, and I've lost my freaking mind. I'm in Vegas. I got to drive back to LA, myself on my thing. My house locks, right? Smart house. This is the key. I don't carry keys to my house. Key. That's my key. It gets me in the garage. It opens up all the doors. It turns off my alarm. Everything is on this phone. And I am losing my mind. I'm walking around, and now I've got like 3 floor managers involved, and everybody's looking. 2 hours have gone by.
And they understand with you. They're like junkies looking for crack in a carpet. Yeah, we'll help you find it. Oh, go. Where could it be? Oh.
I cannot tell you my state of mind. I cannot. And then I'm just looking everywhere, and I'm talking. It's a Vegas casino. And then this manager is coming up to me, 2 security guards behind her. She's walking up. You lose a cell phone? I go, yes. One was just turned in to the security desk. Go and check it out. So I hightail it. I walk up to the security, and I see, was the same phone, but a different one, black case. But anyway, with the ring on the back, sitting face down on the shelf, right? I go, that's my phone. Prove it. Well, hand it to me. Can't hand it to you. Anyway, the point is, I got my phone back, and I'm walking away. I kissed it, and I said, I will never, ever lose you again. So what did I do? I came home. I got a second one, and there's a duplicate of it. Now I have a duplicate, right? Like I said, 3 different phone numbers. Identical, all updating to the same iCloud, all, you know what I mean? And I never want to feel like that again.
No, and we're all addicted in that way. I had the same experience in Germany. I got my phone back after 2 days. It felt like, I don't know if you've ever been addicted to a pain medicine, but it felt like, I was a heroin addict. This girl from the audience raised the phone up while I was at the Star Trek convention, and she said, I think I've got your phone. And it literally felt like, Rent Boy from Trainspotting taking a hit. I was like, oh, thank God. It was like all the weight dropped off my shoulders. That's addiction. It's straight up addiction.
And I went up to my room with a 2-hour-old cold sandwich, right? My drink, my bag of onions, and I ate them like it was Thanksgiving dinner, and I was 10 years old.
While you played a game on yourself.
Yeah, man, played slots till 4 a.m. on my cell phone. Yeah, it's where we are today.
Yeah, it is.
And the only reason why I haven't got the full bug, I mean like the full bug, because I don't pick it up every 2 seconds and look and check my email. No, I don't. I've got alerts set up. I've got other things that I do. I've got guitars that I play. I build models. I've got radio control cars. I've got a racetrack in my backyard. You're going to love it, by the way, when you come over. Yeah. I got a racetrack in the backyard. I got my motorcycle license this week.
So did I recently.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Let's go on a road trip, man. Let's ditch our phones. Let's get on the bikes.
Dude.
Let's go on a road trip.
Part of it. And so I'm shy. I bought a couple of motorcycle helmets. I don't like them, but looking at the motorcycle helmets today, right? The big feature is Bluetooth. So you can answer your phone. Screw that. The whole reason. Yeah. I don't want speakers. I don't want Bluetooth. I don't want that. No, I want to hear the engine, and I want to see the open road in front of me. That's why I get that. You know what? That I'm escaping. People think that they're escaping on their phones. They're not. They're building a wall that's closing themselves in. It's the opposite. It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's a good one. We should all put them down. We should all. I at least tip my hat to you for taking 4 hours a day without it, or silencing it for a period of time. I've been thinking about, maybe Sundays, just keeping it off for the whole Sunday and giving myself a break from the dark tech. I call it the dark tech these days because I just realize how all-consuming it is of my entire life. It doesn't give me time to think. Now, there was a time when I was young, when I stood in line at and this is another comedian's joke that I will just butcher, but he made a good point, and the point was that when you stood in line at the grocery store, you weren't playing a game or talking to a friend or answering an email. You were just standing in line, having human thoughts. That's it. And we were way more chill. Society worked much better. We weren't at each other's throats. We weren't losing friends over text messages that we interpreted the wrong way. Yeah, you know how often that happens when somebody sends you a text and you're like, "Oh, screw you, man!" And really, it was a loving text, but you interpreted it the wrong way because
you can't hear their voice.
Yeah, you can't hear their voice, and so you take it the wrong way. And we've gotten so used to Siri as well, or whoever your automatic voice person is, that you won't even take the time to type sentences to people. You'll just blah 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 blah, and Siri does her best. And then we're left to go, what is he or what is she trying to say to me?
Right.
I think there's a real problem with this generation and the whole smart tech.
So are they setting up for the next session in the back? Or is he checking kick drum mics?
Are you guys working? Are you guys still doing stuff? Okay, cool. Yeah, he was grabbing his notebook.
Yeah,
That's Louis Bloodshots from Click Tight, number 30, with his Bronco jersey, heading back into the studio.
So Denver still has a team?
Not really, no.
Oh man!
I mean, they have a team, but they can't play football.
The last thing I remember about Denver is Peyton Manning played for them for a minute, right?
Yeah, and brought him to the Super Bowl, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, that's the last. And when was that? It was 20 years ago?
At least, yeah.
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Man, the Dodgers, I don't do the Dodgers.
700 million.
700 million. $700 million
for a pitcher who might hurt his arm next year, and you still owe him the 700 million.
$700 million. I mean, that's more money.
It's almost a billion.
Than the GMP of like 80% of the world's countries. A pitcher, 700. I read that. I don't do sports, but that's conspiracy right there. That is.
I keep up with the boxing. It's the most slimy, corrupt sport in the world, but I still like boxing.
Yeah.
But my girlfriend asked me today, how can they afford to pay these guys this exorbitant amount of money?
$700 million.
Football players play 16 games a year. Basketball players play what? 54, 72. I don't know what it is. Baseball players play 160 or
163 games. Yes.
So they're filling stadiums 163 times a year. And the ads, all that goes with it, that's why they're making so much money.
It's just a lot of money.
They play, 10 times as many games as everybody else.
We're supposed to be talking about UFOs, but let me say,
I'd love to get into it.
Have you seen? It's season 3 now. Have you watched For All Mankind on Apple TV?
But I want to.
You know what? Don't mess around. Don't just start with season 1 tonight. It's Apple TV.
I'll go home and start
and what it is, and it's so well done. But this isn't some crazy spoiler alert. Okay, you learn all of this in the first few minutes of episode 1 of season 1. It's a retelling of history. It's an alternative history series about the space race, and here's where it starts. Russia gets to the moon first. We still have Apollo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? But it goes to like Apollo 30. But it ended at Apollo 17, as we all know. Anyway, so that's where it starts. The training of the astronauts, the starting of NASA, the all the names are there. Everything is accurate, except Russia beats us to the moon. And then next, it's who gets to Mars first. All right, and that's all I'm gonna say, dude. It is so awesome. It's really, really, really well done and very addictive.
It's written by a great writer too. I can't think of his name right now, but he's a Star Trek writer, Battlestar Galactica, super stud.
Yeah. Wait a minute. His name is. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I'll tell you right now.
I've always wanted to work with him. I've met him a number of times, but I always watch his shows.
It is written by Ronald Moore and Matt Wolpert.
Ronald Moore.
Yeah, Ron Moore.
And he's
so good, man. He's so good. The series, it's one of those things where you and I talk about this all the time. When you live in Hollywood, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be a gardener. You can be a waiter. You can work for a bank. It doesn't matter what you do. Everybody here, in one way or another, is in the business, right? You're in the business. You're in the business, and you love watching TV. You go to the movies and you stay for the credits, right?
If you don't stay for the credits, you're not a real movie lover.
That's it. And in Hollywood, man, you don't want to get up from the theater when it says the end. You don't want to be that guy or that girl. You stay. And that's what Hollywood is. And so I'm looking at the editing and the framing. I'm listening to the soundtracks. I'm feeling the screenplay and the credits and who's doing what. And so when I say a TV series is great, and I'm saying it to you, you're going to listen to me. You're going to go check it out. So just
Apple
go.
TV is doing some amazing things.
All
their sci-fi, yes.
All their sci-fi is really the Silo.
The Silo, yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah.
The morning show. Did you watch that?
I even love the comedy with the guy that plays soccer, Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso was him. I watched. You know what? I might have. You know what? Guilty pleasure. I might have watched everything twice.
Yeah. But UFOs. Let's get into it, because I did it. I was actually doing my show, Dangerous Thoughts, every Sunday night, 6 p.m. YouTube. I'm gonna be you someday on every other channel in the world doing the podcast. But we just do a video podcast on my social media and on YouTube at Dangerous Thoughts or at Manu Intiraymi everywhere else. And we pick a topic that people, cancel culture or people don't want to talk about, and we dive as deep as we can. We did a UFO show last night. We had this dude named Les Velez on.
Oh, yeah, I know Les. Yeah, Les is great. Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he was awesome. And here's another thing I can't believe. We're talking about cell phones and how people don't know they're being listened to 24/7, watched 24/7. You're being cataloged. Everything you say, everything we say on this show is being put in a file that says Jimmy Church, Manu Intami, and they slip it all in there. They're studying every single one of us. And I wonder how far that goes past humanity, if there's an alien connection. But my initial point was that people don't care that they're being watched and listened to 24/7 by their technology, by their own government. But they also don't seem to care that F-18, F-35 pilots are getting up in front of Congress and telling people telling the government, hey, we've seen these things. We've shot at these things. They've turned off our weapons. They look like this. With the Tic Tac incident, to the David Grush recently, and Commander Fravor, who got right up on that ship, and it was like a jellyfish-shaped ship with a black box in the middle of it. He said he could see it.
You're talking about Ryan Graves.
I thought that was Commander David Fravor.
No, Fravor saw the Tic Tac.
Oh, he saw the Tic Tac. Okay.
Yeah. Ryan Graves was the clear sphere.
But I saw the clear sphere black box thing.
I need to take.
But nobody cares.
Nobody cares. I got to take a break, but I'm going to say this. So, I took the Harley Davidson HD ride course this weekend. Right, it was long. It was and one of the classmates. I'm not going to say her name. Maybe she's listening right now. So anyway, she's sitting here and she goes, well, and for like 2 days, I didn't tell anybody who I was. Okay. I was on the down low, got my hoodie up, right? Sunglasses on, taking my class. Anyway, so she goes, do you know Ryan Graves? And I go, what? He's a friend of mine.
No.
What? And I don't want to say anything, or he knows they've met, they've hung out, they've friend, whatever the story was, doesn't matter. But then she took it one step further. And what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And I'm thinking to myself, this is just a motorcycle class in the middle of the desert, right? In California. And if by the way, as soon as she started, everybody else, right? I've seen a UFO. Oh, I've seen one. Oh, I was in the Air Force, and this, I was like, the whole class like flipped over on me. And that was a real eye opener. And
that's nice, because I've had so many experiences where I try to bring the topic up to people who are out of the loop, and they don't even know that these congressional testimonies have happened, and they don't care. They're still under that.
They're in that bubble, man. They're in their bubble.
Too weird. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
But to me, it's absolutely obvious that we've been watched by these things for probably since we've been here, since we've been human. Let's at least since World War II. But I'll let you take your break.
Let's take our break, Manu. We'll be right back after this. Stay right there. This is Fade to Black.
My job is not to preach. My job is to take you on this journey.
In a state of passion, nothing negative can happen.
That it's the moons of those planets that would have life.
Sometimes I see, these energies also in your field.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
Hi, everybody. Jimmy Church here. Very special announcement, and that is we are shipping Fade to Black t-shirts again. It's been almost 2 years. We did a full upgrade to the website, so you can head over to jimmychurchradio.com. It's all simple to do, and it's right there. Remember, we broadcast 4 nights a week, Monday through Thursday. We bring you the best, the brightest, the most knowledgeable and amazing guests, the best conversations. We do that 4 nights a week. We also do 4 days a week. We broadcast the news, and we do that live too as well. It's not a one-man show. I do it with website support. I do it with producers. I do it with writers and artists. All contribute to the show. The best way to help support what we do here is with the Fade to Black t-shirt. And you can get your Fade to Black t-shirt one of 2 ways. First, go to jimmychurchradio.com, order a shirt. It's really that simple. You're going to get a tracking number, it's going to get shipped, and it's going to get autographed. The second way to get a shirt is with a Game Changer membership. Now, the Game Changer membership not only includes a free t-shirt, but you get a private email to me. You get unlimited commercial-free downloads. You have full access to the website, and everything includes free shipping, and everything is autographed. So help support the show. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. The links are below. You can just go to jimmychurchradio.com, and it's right on the website. So there you go. I'm Jimmy Church, Fade to Black. I'm so excited that I just have one thing to say. Go Beckley Teppy. River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. I didn't add my. Now I'm back. Man, see that right there, Manu. That's technology. It's called click the button, Church. Click the button. Church. And do you remember? You're going to laugh about this.
Click the button, Church, with Jimmy Church.
Do you remember? Excuse me. Do you remember teaching me how to say your name?
Yes.
Do you remember how I screwed it up for like 15 minutes?
Yes.
And then I asked you, and then you said something to me that let's see if it was the truth. Okay, let's see if you remember it. You said my mom says it like 3 different ways. Yeah, that right, and you said boom, 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 and that messed with me ever since. Ever since.
Well, the Manu is easy, but the last name it looks like Intiraymi or something like that. But the truth, it's a simple syllable all the way across. It's Intiraymi. Intiraymi.
It's really that simple. Yeah. How many times growing up? My name's easy, Church, right? Nobody's really screwed that up. But you. How many times do you correct somebody once a day?
Oh, I don't know how many talk shows I've been on, but it gets messed up every time. And 20 years ago, I should have changed it. You know, I thought I was going to be the next Leonardo DiCaprio or some shit. But Manu Intiraymi, it's very difficult. And especially in the acting world, people think I'm going to be an Indian man, not a Irish white boy. And so I've thought about so many different last name changes, from Manu Dean Lewis to Manu Alexandro to Manu Dean to just all sorts of things. And at this point, I've been doing it for so long. I'm just like, yeah, leave it. It's a toughie.
It's a gift and it's a curse.
Yeah. But maybe when that one movie comes out that actually gets a big, response, people will learn the name at some point.
Jimmy Fallon.
And if they don't, they don't.
Jimmy Fallon will screw it up, and
that'll be fun. I'd love to.
You guys will have a big laugh over it. So, now back to UFOs. So, yeah, I thought it was a huge eye opener for me to suddenly have this conversation shift, and we were focused on. I had to pull this thing back, and we're there to learn how to ride motorcycles, right? And I just had to pull it back and get the conversation back on motorcycles, because these people wanted information. They wanted to talk, and they wanted to share their stories, and it made me feel really, really good. And it was and so,
well, hey, think about people that are most likely to see UFOs. If you're a biker and you're riding through the night on a constant basis, it's beautiful riding across the desert at night on a motorcycle, and you're looking at stars, you're looking at everything. You don't have glass in front of you. You can have your helmet up, or you can be, these guys and gals that ride bikes, they're most likely to see something. So that crowd, I was thinking, like, why did Jimmy talk to a bunch of regular Americans, and they actually had stories where I talk to my friends and they look at me like I'm completely crazy, even though they, don't watch the news.
But has it changed in Hollywood? I've often said that if you ever really want a project greenlit, make it alien invasion, right?
That's their agenda thing.
It's the agenda thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you've heard of what was the guy that came and helped us with the V2 rockets and the
Werner von Braun.
Werner von Braun, right? So on his deathbed, I'm sure your listeners know, he told his daughter or his niece or somebody that the last card that the military-industrial complex was going to play was that they were going to fake an alien invasion, convince us that all these aliens are bad. Aliens are bad, okay? And that we were going to go to war against these things, which is ridiculous and crazy to me, because if you're from another dimension or another star system, we probably don't stand a chance against you. But then Trump takes office. I see him make Space Force. Space Force is the fifth arm, I think, or the sixth arm of our
military.
Military. Yeah. There we go. Thank you. My brain is slowing down. Must be the UFOs zapping me, or the military. Once we start talking about something that's important, truthfully, like, let me tell you the story of how I got back involved in UFOs, UAPs, what they want us to call them now. When I was a kid, I had these little things that I guess today you would call grays. They had these little, like, jumpsuits on. They sort of like space jumpsuits, but sort of like overalls. And they would come in my window, not every night, but many nights a week when I was like 6 years old. And they would crawl across my bed through my window, and they would start looking around, 4 to 6 of them. They would look around my room, and they would go to the rest of my house. And we lived in a big, big house in Idaho, because my dad grew a bunch of weed back in '85, and we had these beautiful properties with these underground grow rooms. And I was young, and these things started crawling across my bed, and I would scream, and I would say they were ugly, and etc. And my parents didn't believe me. It was just that basic, go back to bed, kid. There's no such thing as monsters. But then my mom saw one. My mom was laying in bed. This is when I was like 7 years old, 84 or something like that. She turns to her left, and she sees this thing sort of chilling, doing this kind of like snake-like vibe. And it's your typical communion-looking gray alien. And it has these like, except she said she drew it for me back then because she said it had these like owl sort of ears, sort of feathered ears that went back. Not much of a mouth, big black eyes, but these sort of owl-like ears. And then my cousin saw the same thing 2 weeks later. And we lived way out in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, like way out in a suburb that only had like 8 houses. And each house was a good half a mile to a mile apart. I used to take a snow sled up to my friend's house. So these things were definitely coming. They were definitely checking us out in the 80s. My mom didn't know anything about it until she had this experience. And then she went into the library and she saw Whitley Strieber's Communion on the shelf. And she saw the picture of what we now know is the typical gray alien. And she said that, and she said it out loud. She goes, "That was in my room." And she almost passed out in the library. So I've always been interested in this idea that we're being visited, just from a young child. But then I gave it up for a long time until I was like 29, 30 years old.
How old were you during this period?
During that period, I was like 5 to 7 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I haven't seen him again, unfortunately. I actually wish that I would had a more current experience. I actually did see them in Idaho when I was 10, but I saw UFOs up above the mountains. I saw these lights that were sort of dancing in between each other in a pattern that was pretty neat to look at for about 20 minutes. And I wasn't on any hallucinogenics or anything. I was just standing there sober in a field in Montana. And I saw these, actually, I think it was Colorado now I think of it, but I was 10 years old then. So that's the 2 alien encounters or UFO encounters that I've had. But that was when I was a kid, right? So I let it all go, and I didn't decide to look into it anymore. But at 30 years old, having been on Star Trek, having gone to all these conventions, I find myself sitting next to Buzz Aldrin. And Buzz at a dinner for Nichelle Nichols. And after that dinner, Nichelle Nichols and Buzz Aldrin were going to go off to NASA for some meeting that they were having about the future of NASA and what Buzz and Michelle and a bunch of other astronauts thought, a think tank. But I had 3 hours next to Buzz Aldrin, the first dude that stepped on the moon. So I wasn't going to waste it. And I hit him right away with like, "Hey man, what was it like going to the moon? Did you see any like aliens or anything?" And I was just kidding. But the dude looked me straight in the eyes and he said, "Actually, yeah, I did. The whole time we went there were ships following us. While we were there were ships in the horizon. When we went back, ships followed us back. And I believe, and me and Michelle are about to go to NASA, I believe once mankind becomes a multiplanetary species, once we have a base on Mars, etc., that these things will talk to us much more often." And he said much more often. Not like they've never talked to us. He said they'll talk to us more. This is the man that has stepped foot on the moon.
Right.
And I'm
It's
30
Buzz.
years old. And
Yes.
Buzz is telling me, "Yeah, dude, they're real. They're there. I've seen them. And I want them to talk to us more. And that's what I'm spending the rest of my life doing." So at 30 years old, when I heard that from that guy, the first dude, well, the second dude, to put his
Second, but close enough.
whatever, right?
Apollo 11, sure.
Yeah. To put his feet on the moon, I had to get into it. I had to start reading the books, the Betty and Barney Hill and Dominion, and all the, who's the brilliant dude that they give so much shit to, Bob Lazar, all that stuff, right? Lazar obviously worked at where he said he worked, Area 51. He obviously worked on these ships. The guy's not a liar. You see that new documentary by, what's his name? I'm sure you know the gentleman's name that made it. He testified in front of Congress as well with Rush and Fravor, or the commander that I'm getting confused.
You're thinking of Jeremy Corbell.
Jeremy Corbell. Yeah, Jeremy Corbell.
He sat behind him. Yeah, he didn't testify.
He didn't testify, but he was there. Yeah. And Corbell does this wonderful documentary. If you've never seen it, you should see it. It's
I was at the premiere here in LA.
I can believe it. You're Jimmy Church, Fade to Black. I wish I was there.
Stop.
But Mickey Rourke. It's a beautiful documentary. Mickey Rourke does the voiceover, and Bob Lazar is one of the most believable characters in the world to me. And Corbell shows him all this old technology that he used to see when he worked there that could scan your bones or whatever, and he had pictures of it. And there's so many poignant moments in that documentary that make you realize that Bob is not lying. We've re-engineered alien technology. Different extraterrestrials are watching us, whether they're demons, whether they're angels, whether they're interdimensionals, whether they're coming from another star system, whether they're I don't know what. They're definitely here, and we're not alone in this universe. And for me, it's one of the most interesting, if not the most interesting topics in the world. And I guess it just frustrates me that we can get all the way to this point where the top people in the world, our F-18, F-35 pilots are sitting in front of Congress telling them that they're afraid for their life. A Grush tells Congress, I'm afraid for my life, but I'm going to give you all this information. I'm going to give you all these people's names that have been working on these top secret projects, that have been watching these things, watching us. But I'm scared for my life. And that doesn't make every headline news all over the country. That doesn't make the front page paper of every town in America and across the world. I find it so hard to believe that you're talking about the bubble earlier, right? That everyone lives in. That this topic, to me, is like the most exciting thing that could happen in my short, beautiful lifetime here on Earth. That I could actually be a part of the time where these things say hello or tell us some more of their intentions. Or I think it's fascinating, and I just wish our American government, the Pentagon, etc., DARPA, the Black Ops programs that have been studying these things for a long time, I just wish we would get to that point that they call disclosure, where we could actually get all the facts.
I'm going to show you something really quick, and the audience has already seen this, but I'm going to show you something that recently just blew my mind. And we have you mentioned Grush, you mentioned Graves, you mentioned the testimony, and then we just had this the recent stuff that went down in Mexico City twice, and about these alien mummies, which I find very intriguing. I'm still on the fence about them, but
me too. Have they done X-rays on these things?
Well, so check this out. Let me show you this. This image that I'm going to show you, I personally took about 10 days ago. 10 days ago, okay? And this was in Peru, and this is in a little village up in the mountains, 12,000 feet, something crazy. And the archaeologist...
God, you still with us.
Yeah, the archaeologist...
It's hard to breathe up there.
That discovered this alien mummy that I'm about to show you. It was found about 40 years ago. The Peruvian government, it's of a 1.5-year-old child, and the Peruvian government sued him for this mummy, and he won the case. So he has the mummy in his possession. He keeps it locked up in a safe, but in special situations like this one, it was shown to me. And so now it's in a glass case. My friend that you know, Brian Forrester, he's great. Brian has held the mummy, but that's not what's important. I'm going to show it to you here. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Now, what you're looking at here, Manu, is a 1.5-year-old child. The mummy is about this tall. So you're looking at the skull here, and you're looking at the mummy itself.
Look at the eye sockets.
Well, hold on. We're going to get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
But from the bottom of the spine right here, you can see my mouse moving. It doesn't have its legs. Okay, so that's its tailbone. That's its spine. This is an arm here. You can see it. There's an arm, and you can see the ribs. But anyway, so from the bottom of the tailbone to the top of the head, it's about that big. So the skull that you're looking at here looks like a normal sized human skull. This is a 1.5-year-old child. The skull is about 6 inches tall. It's about this big, right? It's very small. Okay. But here's the kicker. It's 1.5 years old, still has the hole on its head that hasn't healed, from when you're born, right? So that's still there. The sutures are there. But are you ready? It's got a set of adult molars.
Whoa. What?
Those are adult molars. That's a 1.5-year-old child. Look at the where the teeth.
Yeah, it's like it's wisdom teeth.
Right. Now, and you look at something like this. Now, this is from the other side. Here's the intriguing thing. 10 ribs.
Whoa.
Humans have 12, including infants, by the way.
Yeah.
It's only got 10 ribs, and the ribs go in the wrong direction.
The wrong direction. Yeah, I saw.
And yeah. Now look at this head, okay? And so now, again, here's another shot. Now I'm going to show you the money shot, which is right here. I've got two. Look at now. This is only 6 inches. Those eye sockets on a little 6-inch head are as big as yours. As a full-grown human,
if not bigger.
Yeah, it's so out of proportion to what you're going on here. And then you have this complete adult jaw with these adult molars on a 1.5. This is a little baby. It's this big. The whole mummy is this big with teeth the size of yours in it. Wow. And look at these eye sockets, and there's no eyebrows. Okay, you know what I'm saying? There's no ridge. Yeah. It just goes straight into the eye socket. Now I took one more shot, a close up, which is here, and just look. Isn't that crazy town?
Wow.
Look at those teeth. Look at those teeth. So, and look at the size of this. Look at this. Look at what is going on here. I don't have a clue.
No, me either.
Okay, I'm not here to say it's this or it's this. All I can tell you is that ain't right. I did 2 interviews with 2 different doctors that were with us. That I filmed. One, it was a surgeon from Lithuania, a GI surgeon. And an ER medical doctor runs an emergency room that runs, okay, 2 different interviews. Watching and the interviews are interesting because they say, I have no clue what the hell I'm looking at. This doesn't make any sense. Wow. But that wasn't what I found interesting. It was the look on their faces. Because, to be a surgeon or an ER physician, all right, you're talking about 12 years of medical school. You've certainly seen your share of books on anatomy, right? You know what I mean? And you see something like this, and I'm watching, their brain is not functioning correctly because they're confused.
Yeah, it's out of their world.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And there was one other thing that they both pointed out, and that is where the spinal cord attaches to the skull. It's in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
Yours goes right at the back of your skull. Okay. Yeah. This is like way forward. It's in the middle.
It almost doesn't have a neck at all. It's very small neck.
You can see where it's just like, right, because there's so much. Anyway, it's the balance point and everything else, but it just. And I'm having issues with this. It's 1.5 years old. There's no years for boarding or something. No, this child was born this way. And I asked both doctors too if there's any kind of abnormality, some kind of disease, some kind of genetic defect that causes something like this. And they both said the same thing. One was from Europe. The surgeon was from Europe, and the ER doctor is American. All right. So we got two different, medical professionals, two different types of training and everything else. But both said the same thing. There is nothing that I know of that does this. Nothing. Rib count, rib directions, the eyes, the teeth, the age,
the size of the brain and the skull.
And so the ER doctor said that the brain capacity here is about three times the size of a normal human, and that the brain would take up the entire skull. Right? There's not like blank area there, right? The brain is filling up, and watching her, she was just confused. And she did her best. The rib count and the shape of the ribs going in the opposite direction, just very strange. But I saw this with my own eyes, and that's
very cool. That's not the mummies that I thought you were going to show me. I saw another thing on some mummies from South America. This one actually is quite yeah, I've got the same look on my face. Probably
isn't that just
pretty amazing? What is the stuff sitting next to it?
Hold on, let me look.
Is it just like a blanket or something?
Yeah. This all came out. This is in situ of the body was found lying on its side, facing I believe facing west to the rising or to the sunset. Okay, so that was on top. And now
it had like a little hood on top of its head.
Yeah, something was there, but this is intact. So let's back up and yeah, you're talking about this right here. Yeah.
Oh, so it was sort of cuddled up like a baby cuddles up too.
See its arm. Look at its arm. Very, very crazy.
When did this discovery happen?
40 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that.
And this museum that you were in, what were they?
No. It's his museum.
Oh, it's his place.
It's one room. It's like it's smaller than
I found.
Smaller than my walk-in closet. That's it. You just walk in the front door, and there it was, right there.
But that's obviously real. It's
little tiny town. I couldn't believe that we pulled in. If I was going to make my guess, how many people lived in this town? 100, maybe.
Wow.
Just on the top of the Andes Mountains, and there it was. So yeah, I'm just when I got to see the Nazca mummy or the Nazca lines, and I went to Machu Picchu, and Ollanta Tambo and Sacsayhuaman. Got to see all the it was just amazing.
Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah, I saw some crazy stuff. Anyway, I can't. This is the one thing I just can't quite. Look at that.
Yeah, that is wild. That looks like a full adult jaw, like a big old jaw. And it's on a 6-inch head or 8-inch head.
That head, like I said, man, the whole thing from, what is that's like a piece of gum, right? That's a candy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's the whole thing.
Oh my God, it's so small. Oh, that's wild.
It's tiny, dude. It's tiny.
Wow.
Tiny. Yeah. It just does not make any sense.
Yeah.
We can't. This one is that's a puzzler to me.
At this point, you can't refute it. I mean, the last woman, she just passed away, but the last woman that worked on Project Blue Book, one of the things that she said to a documentarian that was talking to her was that she thinks she's going to go a little bit off the rails here and a little bit off the books, but she said, I think we're doomed, which was a scary thing to hear from the last person that worked on Project Blue Book. But you can't refute it. There's just too much evidence that these things are here, have been here, and are keeping an eye, at least since the nuclear bomb went off. But you go way back before that. You've got cave paintings, and you've got stuff from way, way back, art in the 1600s, 1500s. These things are watching us, and they have something to do. I think I don't have an opinion, but my personal idea is that they probably have something to do with DNA. And I've always thought that the Greys are likely some kind of AI meets biology, because they always seem to be involved with the abductions or the taking of somebody. And then you start to, like Travis Walton was taken by some Greys. Then he's running around this big old spaceship. He sees a bunch of these different crafts in the cargo bay. Then he sees some Nordics, and Nordics look a lot like human beings. So he runs over to these guys because he's thinking, hey, these are humans. What am I doing here? Where am I? And they gas him, and they leave him on the side of the road. And Travis Walton is just one of a million different stories worldwide of these things interacting with us. I thought the Travis Walton story, to me, this is my personal opinion, but what always made sense about his story was I figured those were some like teenager aliens that stole their father's car for the day, right? And they were in one of the big cigar-shaped things, and they were like, man, we're going to go for a ride. We're at Earth. Let's go check it out. Let's get down closer and see what's up. And they stole one of the smaller craft, and they cruised down to the Mongolian Rim, and they happened to run into those guys with the truck. And the kids were like, oh, shit, they see us. What the fuck? And so they zap him, and they take him, and they bring him back to Daddy and the bigger aliens. And we messed up. We blew it. We didn't kill him, but he's still here. Can we fix him up? Whatever. He spent 7 days on that ship, or 6 days. I don't know, something between somewhere.
Yeah, 5.
5, something like that. And when he comes back, they pass, every one of his friends, all 6 of them, except for that one dude that was iffy. All of them passed the lie detector test. This obviously happened. And anybody that says it's all a bunch of lies, it's all a bunch of crazy people making stuff up, they're just so lost at this point. There's just too much evidence. And I'm craving more. I just find myself every day wishing I knew more, wishing I was more connected to the UFO, UAP community.
Yeah, the alien kids probably, their dad made him return,
Yeah, bring him back, put him back on the road, you freaking idiots.
Dad, can't we keep the puppy? No, take him to the neighbor's house. You stole the candy bar, and your mom grabs you by the ear, puts you in the car, and you got to go back to the store and give it to the cashier and apologize.
Why did you hit him with the ray? Well, he saw us, Dad. Well, who cares? He didn't have a camera. Why did you hit him with the ray? I don't know, Dad. I just panicked.
It probably happens every day if you think about it. Like, a herd of cows, right? Little cow comes running back home and says, Mom, The aliens are tipping cows over again. All right, wait, no, there's no such thing. Yeah, they're out there right now. I'll show you. Go out, everybody's gone, cows are. It's like, because to anybody else, we are the aliens.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
They would want to see us as much as we'd want to see them, especially if they were traveling a short trip. One of my buddies thinks they're parked on the moon, which makes a lot of sense to me. There's a lot of weird stuff about the moon. The fact that it rang like a bell when we crashed our Apollo ships into it for a long time. Looks to be hollow, all sorts of weird stuff. I'm so excited that we're going back. I keep hearing in 2025 we're actually going to go back. But will they tell us anything real? Who knows?
But this time around, okay, so here's why it's a different game. Back then, we had crap for TV, right?
True.
The broadcasts were black and white. The broadcast came into NASA, was on a movie screen that was a projector, and then they had a television camera focused on that broadcast out to the world and did the recording. So what we see is already third generation out of focused black and white
degradation crap.
Right. This time around, we've got 4K streaming madness going on, right? Yeah. We've got satellites with the internet already orbiting the moon. We've got Starlink waiting to intercept it. We've got, what I mean? So this time around, it's going to be, what's the second delay? I think it's 1.5 seconds to the moon, right? The speed of light, and it's 250,000 miles away, 178,000 miles per second. So it's like a 1.5 seconds delay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a different kind of party, and we're a lot smarter, and we have high expectations of what we're going to see. So I don't, and the ability to intercept, I don't think, and this is why, this is what I'm trying to say. A secure network or anything like that is one thing, but I don't think you'll be able to manipulate the images. And I'll tell you why. Because if you do, you got Russia and North Korea and China and a host of other nations that will be intercepting everything that we do.
Yeah.
And so if anything is incorrect, they're going to go, United States, it's propaganda, right?
And plenty of guys I know that are in the VFX world can tell you if they're, if they hide 1.5 minutes of footage and suddenly something flies over and their cameras catch it and they're like, we're just not going to show you that 1.5 minutes.
It's a different kind of party. Yeah, it's a different kind of party this time around. Yeah. Last time we were spoon fed and we had to eat what they fed us. Mm-hmm. It's not that kind of party anymore.
Oh, I hope not. I hope you're right. So, and I hope we go a number of times because, we've seen these things on the moon too, where if you saw Encounters recently, did you see Encounters on Netflix? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Encounters was so cool because they Russia supposedly on Encounters, according to Spielberg and the guys that made that, admitted that 15 minutes after Chernobyl exploded, that a craft appeared over Chernobyl and hit it with a beam. And what do they? How do they measure radioactive energy? Something
with REMS.
It's a big long word that means how many gigahertz or gigahertz. I knew it yesterday. It sucks that I don't know it now. But once the ray hit the building, the amount of radiation was like brought down by like 7/10, like a lot, and it allowed us to clean that mess up, and they did what they could to obviously help us. And then in episode 4, you see all the lights that were caught over Fukushima when the Fukushima power plant exploded.
That was one of the most interesting parts of Encounters. You know what I really liked about Encounters? because I watch all of this stuff, and okay, for most people, it's new information.
Yeah.
For me, I've seen it all 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Encounters, though, like 90% of that series, stuff I'd never heard about.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the
really-
Fukushima lights. And all the different people, not only the government footage, but the people on the ground at Fukushima that had that one shot of the ship that were workers on the ground on their cell phone. And then those people that were actually standing back from the ocean behind Fukushima.
How about the
that saw
monastery?
the whole dance of lights. And then the monks that were like, yeah, the ship
monks,
showed up right. Yeah. Amazing.
And that whole section of the show about Scotland and Rock Island, I never heard that story.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, that was Encounters was really well done. It was too short too. What was it?
Too short. It was 4 episodes, I think.
Yeah, 4 episodes. I was pretty pissed about that. But
I was thinking they were going to drop another 4 on us like later in the year or something. I was hoping.
I wanted to ask you this. 5 years old, 10 years old, and then Buzz Aldrin. But have you had any contact or seen anything since then?
No, I mean, I can't tell you the vivid memory of watching those things come in my bedroom window. And they would come in my bedroom window every, 43 minutes on the dot or something. And they would go around my house. And just like if you've ever read about the Men in Black or how weird they act when they come to your house and they're like picking up forks and studying things that are very normal to us, but they seem very odd or freaked out by them or interested in them. I remember being a young kid and they were picking up my toys. They were picking up my Muscle Men. They were picking up my Gonzo toy. I remember one of them holding my Gonzo toy. And I'm peeking out from my blankets just going, crap are these little guys, And then for the most of the time after that, I stopped looking. I just knew by looking at my old clock that it was time. And I could hear them scattering up the window because I was on the second floor. I could hear them like climbing up the window. And I would put my blanket over my head and I would feel them crawl across me and do something similar. Yeah, do something similar that they had done before. And then I had this telepathic connection with them. And these memories aren't like dreams. These are very vivid memories of them being at different parts of my house because we had 2 floors. We had a living room. We had a big old, beautiful greenhouse on the side of the house. I could see in my mind where they were in the house and they would do the same pattern of like exploration of the property. And then I could look at my clock again and go, oh no, they're coming up to my window again. And I would put the blanket over my head and feel them crawl over me. And then once I knew they were out of reach, telepathy, because these things were talking to me in some way, I would run into my parents' bedroom and say, there's these things coming in my window. Can I sleep with you? I don't want to sleep in my room anymore. And my parents would reprimand me, spank me, and send me back to my bedroom. But then when my mom finally saw that thing I told you about and read Communion and got into what we street her, it was like, okay, maybe you have seen something. Maybe you can sleep with Mom. So I probably slept with Mom until I was like 5, 6, 7 years old after that.
This question keeps coming up. This is from Mystery Singer, by the way. This is the new singer of your new band, by the way. Manu, what did they look like? And then, the next thing is, good point, Mystery. You had said earlier that they had jackets on.
They had like overalls. They had like
overalls.
like a space overall suit that was super tight, but it had these like almost like a seatbelt type of things coming down.
And what color? What color were the suits? Do you remember?
They were all blue. They
were all blue. Okay,
and it was dark. It was dark, So, but in my mind, there wasn't any lights on. I wasn't at 5 years old. I wasn't about to flip a switch and go, let's get a closer look. But from my memory, they're all blue. Even their faces were a blue color. But the jumpsuits were a little bit more pale blue than the faces were. And the faces were like just the same experience that my mom had when she looked at the communion book and said, that was in my room, except, owl-like ears. I saw the movie Communion, and when Christopher Walken is, oh, hey, boom, wow, what are these things doing in my house? Looking at these blue things, they had these sort of squashed faces, and they were ugly in that movie. Mine weren't that, but they were that tall. They were like very short, sort of dwarf-like or midget-like. Sorry for the wrong nomenclature of the moment.
Yeah, the PC.
PC bullshit. But they were very short, and they were very like squashed. They were small, but they did have more of the typical gray look that people think of when they think of a gray alien. But their faces were blue. They were dark blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bald? Any hair?
No hair. They're like.
Did they ever look at you in the eye?
The first time that they came up, one looked at me right in the face, and that was why I didn't want to ever see them again. I keep the cover over my head. I saw them twice. I remember, I'm 46 now. This happened so long ago, but I remember that when I saw the one that looked me in the eye, that was crawling across me, that just looked right at me, I was terrified. I pulled the cover over my head. I screamed. I was definitely scared of these things. But this would happen night after night after night after night. So I got much more. Am I frozen?
Yeah, you're frozen.
But can you still hear me?
Yep, but I can still hear you.
That's weird. But I got much more comfortable with the idea that this was happening to me until my mom finally saw them. But this happened to me for a couple of years. And I would just expect it. So I would just look at my clock, pull my covers over my head, feel them crawl over me, and just deal with the telepathic communication that was happening for those couple of years until my mom finally saw one or saw her experience. And once she had her experience, they stopped showing up. So I don't know what to tell you. I just know that it was something that I can't explain in my adult age.
Right.
I know it happened. I have no reason to sit here and make up crap, and all it does is make me look like a nutcase. So,
see, now this is why I wanted to ask you. By the way, at least you're frozen in a good picture. Because,
yeah, don't look bad, right? With one finger up.
Yeah, well, mine freezes. It's like, you're making some. It's always at the wrong.
I'm back.
Now you're back. But this, we're out of time. I wanted to ask you this earlier, but now it's I get a chance to re-ask with this kind of information, and now out there. When you do pitch or you do meet with the studio execs and EPs and VPs and stuff, do you care if you're known as Manu the alien guy, or today it just doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. Nobody's ever. I think that period of being like known as the weirdo is over because there's just been so many sightings at this point. I did want to say one other thing just about that experience. The other memory I have that's very strange is I have these memories of sneaking out of my house, and we lived in this suburb in Idaho that was way up in the middle of nowhere. To the back of my house was in about like a half a mile was a creek, and then there was just wilderness beyond that. And we had a little outhouse that I would walk past, and I would sneak out at like 2-3 in the morning at 5-6 years old. And I remember sneaking out to go meet somebody, something for something important. But for the life of me, I have all these memories of sneaking past the outhouse, getting to the creek, and then my memory goes dead. And I have no idea where I was going. I have no idea what I was doing out of my house at 3 in the morning. I was terrified of the dark, which is the other memory that counteracts that one. Why would I be doing that, sneaking out at 6 years old? Where was I going? What was I doing? I have no memory once I hit the creek. Once I hit the creek, which was you could walk across, the memory shuts off. But I have, at least 100 of these memories of doing this on a multi-nightly basis. A couple times a week, I would sneak out, and I know I was going to meet someone, but the memory dies right there.
I have. I'll share this with you. I don't know if it's part of trauma or if there's something. Nothing bad happened to me, but here's what's strange. We lived in this apartment in Waukegan, Illinois, across the street from our elementary school. I do not, and I lived there for about a year and a half with my mom and my brothers and sisters. I do not have one memory of sleeping in my bedroom. It's weird. After that, I was like 9. I moved in with my dad in Indianapolis. My parents were divorced, right? And I moved in with my dad. My dad's house in Indianapolis, dude, I remember every night since then until now. I'm 60. That 1.5 year period, I have memories of all kinds of things, going to school, this and that, my friends. I do not remember sleeping in my bedroom.
Do you remember sleeping anywhere?
Yeah, my friend John DeBrava's house, spent the night there all the time.
But when it comes to your house, you don't.
My house, I do not once. We had 2 bunk beds in that room because it was my brother Mike, myself, my brother Danny, and my little brother Greg. So we had 2 sets of bunk beds. I remember that. I don't remember which one was mine. I don't remember. No, it's
so
weird,
so
man.
Strange.
It's weird.
Yeah. I know that it's after having pondered all this for so many years, I know that the 80s were a big time and the late 70s were a big time where abductions were happening, and I don't know how farther back that goes because I wasn't alive back then, but from 78 to late 80s, they were snatching us, I think, and doing all sorts of whatever they were doing, whether it's hybrids or checking out our anatomy.
Look at that baby I just showed you. That's 40 years old. How old are you?
Wow,
45.
Yeah, I'm 46.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that thing might be your cousin. Oh, man.
When I was on with Les last night, he said, of everybody on this show, and I have all these guest speakers that have called in to talk to them. He goes, the only one I don't quite trust that might not be human and might be an alien in a human suit is you, Manu.
Hey, Les has been there. I've known that guy for a long time, man. That is one cool down dude. All right, definitely. You got a bunch of stuff going on. I know that you've already shot. Where can everybody go and check out your podcast? You said that's live on Sunday.
Sunday night, 6:00. Come and check out @Dangerous Thoughts. You can become a guest by writing @SubscriptPirate on X or clicking on our Discord link. Not clicking, but using our Discord link that flashes across the bottom. Then you come on our Q&A question at the end of the podcast, where you can ask us or our guest a question. Basically, every week we pick a different topic that is on the fringe or controversial or something that we think needs to be talked about more, but people for some reason don't want to talk about it. and we go there and we dive as deep as we can down that rabbit hole. So tune in now at Dangerous Thoughts, 6 p.m. Pacific time, Sundays, because we could be canceled at any moment. We don't share, we don't share, we don't shy away from anything. All questions are we talk about a lot. So check out Dangerous Thoughts. Do Justice is coming out soon.
Wait, who's that guy in the background? Who's that? Turn around. Who's that?
That's Edub.
Edub, come over here. Tell Edub. Tell him to come over here.
Yeah.
Tell him to come over here. All right.
This is Edub. Edub is like my Biggie Smalls. This dude can rap. He's got.
Is that right?
Voice.
Is that right? Give him the headphones.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's up, Edub? Take a seat. Take a seat.
Okay. Yeah, get ready.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now. Manu can't hear me. Okay, it's just you and I.
Okay.
He's full of shit. I'm just telling you now. You know that, right? Okay, are we cool? I love that. Hey, man, I love that. I love that man. He's my brother. Yeah, he's my brother. He's a really, really good. He's a really good dude. But look, you were walking around. This is a big show that you're on right now, and
I'm producing these guys. Click
see,
tight.
He does
the record early January.
Edub, he's full of shit. He's full of shit. Edub, he's full of shit. Just get my email. They'll straighten you out. Hey man, just take care of him. All right. He's a much loved not only friend and brother, but I've just got nothing but mad respect from Manu. So you're just walking around. I just wanted to see what was up. And is it at this point in your life, we're 2 minutes past the show, but let me ask you this. How easy is it to develop trust with somebody new?
Well, it's not hard at all, because you know, like on one of my verses, I say real recognize real. You know,
that's right.
You can always tell when somebody's faking, they up to scams and bull crap and stuff like that. But if you communicate, you talk, and you get to know each other, then it's all good.
That's I couldn't have said it better myself. The same thing hit me. Manu and I have known each other for maybe 10 years. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of those things where, sometimes you just got to go with it, man. You just go with it. Don't second guess yourself. Yeah. And I've just got all the trust in the world with that guy. So you did the right move. So pull Manu back over, and when you guys start dropping your stuff, we'll get you and Manu on the show together. All right, we'll play some stuff.
Okay, nice meeting you, man.
It's good to meet you, Edub. And pull him back, man. Get him out of the control room. He's going to go in there and cut some vocal tracks. Tell him I got to run credits.
All right, I got you.
And tell him right now. Just yell, Manu. Jimmy's got to run credits.
Manu. Yeah, come over here. You got to do credits.
Sorry, I was listening to some of my boys' music. It was too hot.
Man, that was just awesome. That was just awesome.
Yeah.
So you don't have to. I told Edub the truth about you. You don't have to worry about a thing.
Oh, Edub knows I'm crazy. That's all right. Yeah.
Hey, Manu, let's shout at each other later on this week. And as soon as things start to throw down, let me know. And if you ever want me on your show, you know what to do.
Of course, man. I'd love to have you.
I'll talk to you, brother. It's been too long. Love you, Manu.
Thanks for having me on, man. Fade to Black all day, all night. I love what you're doing, man. You're working so hard and you're getting so many viewers. I'm proud of you, man.
Hey, what I want is the fountain of youth that you're sipping off of. You look great. I'll talk to you, Manu. Behave.
Love you, man. Love you.
Love you back. Manu Intray right there. What a great conversation. And everybody, I got to get out of here. I ran over tonight, and tomorrow night, I've got doctors JJ and Desiree Hertock on with me tomorrow night. And tomorrow night, It is going to be a discussion of sacred sites around the world, from Mexico to Egypt. That's half of the world and everything in between. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Thank you to Dennis and Kevin. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Jonacide. Dennis was hanging out tonight. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Music, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and this broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2023 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Until tomorrow night with Desiree and JJ right here. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go Backley Tappy.